whereas if there's a complaint against the team, it must be done within 24 hours of the competition.
And I don't know who's pushing. FIFA to, on their own accord, they just decided they're gonna now launch an investigation. The country rallied behind the boys. The stadiums were getting filled up. Everybody else understood the assignment, and this organization just messed it up for us. Because right now, yes, it's not all lost, but we are not in a favorable position at all.
A FIFA bombshell and a FIFA bombshell. Nothing else really matters at the moment. Anyway, this is Black and White Boots.
My friend,
we just got the news.
Yeah.
The news was published 30 minutes ago at the time of recording. We've been talking about this for the past few weeks and saying, look, FIFA has a regulation in place, whereas if there's a complaint against the team, it must be done within 24 hours of the competition. And there's a certain fee that needs to be paid in Swiss francs to FIFA in order for the appeal to be looked at and sanctioned by FIFA. None of those procedures took place. Then, after an elongated period of time, there was a buzz, in particular in Nigerian media, about this infringement. And it's been a year-long process, this buzz, just a media buzz, to which FIFA did not look at the incident. And now they've decided to, at the last minute, at the very end of the qualifying stages, look at it and make a decision. Of course, what we're talking about, Bafana have been docked 3 points with a 6-goal swing. As they had a 3-0 victory against Lesotho. Fielded ineligible to Mokoena in that game. That result has now been changed to a 3-0 loss for Bafana, a 3-0 victory for Lesotho. So it's a 6-goal swing and 3 points.
Yeah, no. Oof. Yeah, when I heard the news, I was so mad, man. And I don't know who's pushing. FIFA to, on their own accord, they just decided they're gonna now launch an investigation
against their own regulations.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Against their own regulations.
But let's park the FIFA regulations aside and just look at the whole matter, and just dissect it from a South African point of view and say what happens now. Who must account? I mean, this is an error that it cannot go unpunishable. I think an error like this, it's devastating, more so when all the stakeholders understand the vision, that we have to qualify for the World Cup. The players did their utmost best, to get us the results. The country rallied behind the boys, the stadiums were getting filled up. Everybody else understood the assignment. And this organization just messed it up for us, because right now, yes, it's not all lost, but we are not in a favorable position at all. I mean, who must account? I mean, in any other country, heads were going to roll. I mean, people were going to resign without having to be pushed out or somebody saying anything. You just account. This is not a mistake that could just go like that, just go away like that. Somebody has to account, in my personal opinion. I don't know what you think. I am so disappointed.
Yeah, it was the fixture in March, I believe.
Yeah.
Between Lesotho and South Africa, which South Africa won 2-0. And has now been awarded the 3-0 victory. So I said a 6-goal swing. It's a 5-goal swing. Okay. So in terms of accountability, there are individuals within SAFA that should be.
Yeah, for one, I think the team's manager.
Yeah,
he is in big KAK.
Yeah,
and how do you miss something like this, Marco?
Yeah, there's surely. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Bafana's setup in terms of administration.
Yeah.
Right. So who's responsible for those sort of administrative decisions and stuff?
Yeah, I like to believe in a normal football setup, that should be the team's manager. I like to believe. But, I mean, I'm sure they're going to come out and say, they take the accountability as a collective, and it just goes, the hope that it goes away. But geez, FIFA has just, SAFA rather, I'm sorry about that. I'm just so mad.
Yeah.
They've always been an organization, they're just comfortable with dropping the ball, and this time I'm afraid the stakes were just too high, and I don't want it to be a situation where nobody just goes and yeah, man, I'm even lost for words, Mark. I'm sorry, man.
We're 2 weeks away from the next fixture.
Yeah.
Which is followed by the final match day of qualification 10 days later, or 4 days later, my apologies, against Rwanda.
Yeah.
So coming up in October, we will see Bafana playing their remaining qualifying games for the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
Achieving top status in this group qualifies you for the 2026 World Cup in Mexico, United States, Canada next year.
Yeah.
The fixtures are Zimbabwe, the game which has already had so much spoken about it in terms of location. This puts even more attention on that fixture. Is this attention that the team needs, that the manager needs, that in order to go on and get this job done? We imagine, and the most concerning thing is that it was in South Africa's hands. It was in Bafana's hands until this decision.
Yeah.
Now Bafana, once again, the calculators come out, as we're used to.
Yeah.
To look at results elsewhere in order to guarantee qualification to next year's World Cup.
Yeah, no, it's crazy now. I mean, we've just now with this now out, we are now under tremendous pressure. We have to go beat Zimbabwe and Rwanda and ensure that we also score lots of goals in those two games. And also hope that the Nigeria and Benin game favors us, because I think a draw or a loss for Benin. Favors us, because also Nigeria would want to still qualify as a second best so that they can go to the playoffs, right? So it's not all lost, but not after such a good run as to how these players have handled themselves and handled these qualifiers. I think it's really, really sad, but it's not all lost, to be quite honest with you. I think it's in a way still very much achievable, but it is an unnecessary pressure that this SAFA blunder has put us in right now, honestly.
Yeah, Zimbabwe currently on 4 points. They're yet to win a game in this qualifying process. Rwanda on 11 points. They've been more competitive. They're actually matched up with Nigeria.
And we lost to Rwanda our first game, but yes, the conditions were not favorable for football. I'm sure you remember that game. We were playing at an artificial pitch. But if I look at that group, I think the only results that we will be looking at with a very close eye would be Benin and Nigeria.
Yeah, that'll be the key fixture.
Yeah,
that's
because if Nigeria wins, they go on level on points with Benin. Eh?
That's correct. Nigeria currently on 11 points. So if Nigeria wins that, they'll go level on points with South Africa and Benin.
Okay.
And dependent on South Africa's results.
Yeah.
So Rwanda would also have a thing or two to say because they're on that same number of points. So they can also sneak their way into the tournament. Lesotho, who are now on 9 points after this decision, could also find their way into a second spot, perhaps, if they win their final 2 games. Big if for them. Zimbabwe completely out of the picture, so their motivation wouldn't necessarily be there. It's not the same level of motivation. But that still won't be an excuse for Bafana to let down in that first result. It's very important for them on the 10th of October to go on and win that game. Are you quietly confident still?
I am. Look, honestly,
I think just that Benin-Nigeria game is it's such a big game for them, for both teams.
Yeah, it's a massive game.
And Nigeria is clearly the team with the most quality in the group. And that they should, if they come in with the star players that they have. Adamala Lukman's been reintroduced into the Atlanta setup. Of course, you've got superstar players playing across Europe there in that Nigeria squad. They should be looking to get maximum points themselves as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. They need that game because there's still an opportunity. There's a window of opportunity for them to finish second. And with everything that is going, the motivation will even be higher because should we not win, obviously I'm saying this in a perspective of Nigerians, should we not win, they are still in it to finish first. You know what I mean? Because we still have to win all our remaining games.
Absolutely.
So, that group is wide open.
Wide open. If South Africa is to lose a game and Nigeria is to win their subsequent 2 games, the only thing would be a goal difference swing. You know, so if you look at those final 2 fixtures for Bafana, they should win both.
Yeah, we should comfortably win both.
There should be no space for a home fixture against Rwanda and an away fixture against Zimbabwe
in Durban.
Both games will be hugely supported by the fan base. The fans really should be coming out for those fixtures and really cheering on the boys and getting them over the line, getting that 12th man there in the stadium and pushing them through. South Africa should still be favourites to qualify from this group.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's still very much in a way in our hands. You know, I think we just need to make sure that we win with good margins. You know, to stand a very good chance. You know, to finish on top. You know, and I can tell you now that Benin and Nigeria game is the one that's gonna decide. It's gonna have an effect on how we end up, you know, because if Benin can just go thump Nigeria, yes, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. But it is the final game of the group stages. There's no kickoff times established yet, but normally those final games are kickoff at the same time.
Yeah.
So, you know, South Africa might be on the edge of going through. It's going to give us some drama at the very least.
Drama that we don't need right now, man. But it is what it is. But yes, I'm disappointed in Safi.
Yeah, it is disappointing. And I think it's easy for South African football fans to look at this and feel like there's an agenda against us in a way. Yeah. Just the way it's been carried out, the amount of time it's taken, the timing of this decision, you know, like we said, South Africa or SAFA have 10 days. They've been given 10 days to reply to this. And hopefully their appeal bears some sort of fruit. I mean...
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, from a legal point of view, we don't know how much the SAFA has to stand on. But like you said, I mean, FIFA went against their own regulations, which could give maybe a window for appeal, you know?
Yeah. There's just that one issue that might be legal grounds to stand on. But at the end of the day, Bafana fielded an ineligible player.
That's the reality.
An ineligible player, rather. That's the reality of it. And, you know, it would really bode well for Bafana to go through in a group that has Nigeria with this deduction in place, just to, you know, just to show who we are.
Of course.
You know, just to show who we are.
It,
especially ahead of African Cup of Nations coming at the end of this year.
Yeah, no. It will be interesting, you know, but let's hope that we still finish on top because I think everybody else did their part in this campaign, and it's just one blunder that is just now like clouding all the hard work that everybody else has put.
Yeah, football must be decided on the pitch. It can't be decided in boardrooms.
Man. I said this the previous time. I hate it when football is decided in this manner. Imagine we don't qualify. Jeez, man.
Yeah, it will be heartbreaking.
It will be heartbreaking.
Speaking of CAF, we were talking about the upcoming AFCON. Of course, a lot more to come with that. But this weekend saw some CAF African Cup of the club African qualifiers for the CAF championships.
Yes. We saw Orlando Pirates just finishing off their job.
Yeah,
I think it was done. But
it was done. We spoke about this after the first the first fixture. They sealed it off nicely. However, Kaizer Chiefs needed a little bit extra in order to qualify for theirs.
Yeah, no. I think that that Angolan outfit was just going to be a struggle. They were not going to be a pushover for Kaizer Chiefs. They're a good side, and to come here and just lose it by just one goal. They were almost there because I think they came here with the mindset of let's just get a draw and then it's done, but unfortunately it did not happen like that. But look, at the end of the day, what matters is that Kaizer Chiefs, it's through to the next round. As to how, I don't think it matters, and nobody else remembers that,
No, and I don't think anyone's going to remember how you got through in the preliminary stages of a competition, right? If you're there, you're there.
You're there. Mamelodi Sundowns went on to win the CAF Champions League after they were in the back door in the group stages. So nobody cares about those kind of things. But yeah, I think Kaizer Chiefs, they're through, and let's see what they can do. But what I like about when I watch the Pirates game is the rotation of the squad from Coach Wadu when I went into that game and rested when in football, when you rest your midfield and the team still progresses in such a manner, that's when you know that, this team is really, really like getting into a groove where even your bench, can actually win you games. He went there with Atiyo Nduli, who has been the anchor since the season started, and they went on to win. It's good to see, and I was just happy, and that squad rotation seems to be like it's working out for him. Butuma scoring 2 goals for the first time, who's somebody that has just been coming on as a sub, as a new signing. Him getting a brace, I think it's gonna go a long way in terms of boosting his confidence. So I think Coach Wadu is really, really cooking with that Orlando Pirates, and it's gonna be interesting to see how far they go this season, because I think that team is gonna be very much formidable this season.
Speaking of Pirates, fixture tonight, PS Galaxy, Betway Premiership.
Hey, those guys are a problem, eh? So it will be interesting, eh? Yeah, no. But, at this point, I think Orlando Pirates are in a position where they need to start converting their game in hands into points. Because you don't want to leave it for too late when there's just too much pressure. You don't want to be left behind the hunting pack. You want to be there with the rest of them. And I think Orlando Pirates are going to look at that fixture and like, you know what, this is the one that we need to get it to the back and just look into the next one, And also you want to go into the FIFA break, with standing in a good position, because after the FIFA break, you don't know what happens. If you've got like 6 players going into the national team, things can change. You never know. People come back with injuries or niggles.
Well, you did mention that the bench performing well this weekend.
Yeah.
That's meant that you can have rested legs for tonight's fixture.
Yeah.
And it shows a priority to the Betway Premiership, especially seeing as the games are so close.
Yeah.
So close behind one another. It was important to be able to get that rest for them for tonight's game. Kaizer Chiefs tomorrow against AmaZulu. Another tough fixture. The Betway Premiership's becoming more and more competitive, it seems.
And what's interesting about that fixture is the fact that they're going to be facing their former coach, Arthur Zwane, and we've seen in the past what former coaches tend to do. We saw with Kevin Hunt playing against Mamelodi Sundowns, how he managed to get 3 points out of them, So it would be interesting. And AmaZulu as well, I don't think they're really playing bad,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The Betway Premiership, as things stand, the table. Fairy tale we were talking about last week, Skikuni United, with the first loss of the season. Coach Eric Tinkler called it ugly.
Yeah.
Limpopo Derby.
Yeah.
Called it ugly, criticized the opposition of being long ball merchants and only creating the one chance in the game, and criticized his players as well fairly for not being able to execute the game plan against those teams.
Yeah,
you always seem to see this, and I don't know why managers are completely shocked when you play an opposition who's not competing on the same level as you in the current state, choosing a tactic that gives them an even playing field or an advantage in this way.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to think that a team's not going to try that, and you need to be prepared to create the chances on the other end.
Yeah, obviously other managers have seen how Skukune play, and they've been giant killers this season already, and you're not just going to go into that fixture in any form. You have to have a strategy, and the strategy that works for you based on what you have on your disposal. For him to go out and say it's an ugly football, it's a bit of a, I think I'm sorry, I'm going to label him a bit of a hypocrite, because that's what he has been doing as well. Exactly. When he was at Cape Town City, when he faced a team like Kaizer Chiefs, he was playing that kind of a football. But now that the wheel has turned, he's on the other side of the ugly football. He's not receiving it well. I think it was a bit silly to say that, but nonetheless, I think teams are allowed to approach the game how they deem fit. I don't think it's ugly in football. It's just tactics, man. At the end of the day, nobody cares how you played in that match. They only care about the results. And Polokwane City are going to be looking at themselves. I'm like, we got 3 points against a team that was unbeaten, And again, I was thinking about it, Marco, and I'm like, I think we jinxed this team, because we spoke about Kaizer Chiefs, we spoke about Liverpool, and we spoke about these guys, Sikukure. And
as soon as anyone's doing well and we open our mouths, we ruin it for them.
That's crazy, man. We ruin it for them.
Sundowns with a 4-1 win over Richards Bay.
Yeah.
And what that means is Sundowns return to the top of the Betway Premiership table, a position that they're used to. However, Skukune is still in an advantageous position, I suppose. They've got the game in hand on Sundowns, and they're a point behind that lead.
Yeah.
So Sundowns won't be feeling overly delighted with their position in the league. Again, it is early days, although 10 fixtures out of the 30, we're a third of the way through.
Yeah, we are. And this is how you move, and Sundowns were right at the bottom, and they've just gotten to a position that they are comfortable with, and try to topple them out of that position. Good luck to any team, I know Skukune's got a game in hand, but Sundowns are in a position that they know very well, and to lose that position, I think it's going to be difficult. They've got the personnel that just knows how to maintain that kind of position. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Coming up to tonight's fixture,
there's
12 points available to Orlando Pirates in terms of that advantage over Sundowns. However, they are 9 points behind. So in order to usurp this current Sundowns position, they'll have to win all 4 of those remaining fixtures, or at least 3 wins and a draw. Not so straightforward. Kaizer Chiefs in a similar boat on 14 points with a 9-point overhaul available to them. Again, they'd have to win all 3 of those games in hand in order to usurp Mamelodi Sundowns. A single loss puts them not only behind in points, but behind in the available games or fixtures in hand.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying that it's very important to convert those games in hand to points, because they don't mean anything until you convert them into points. And we have seen how the likes of Orlando Pirates struggled in the past to convert all their games in hands into points. And as a result, Mamelodi Sundowns just ran away with it. I mean, we saw them. I think they ran away with it, and they won the league with I think 12 points gap. Just goes to show you, you have to convert those, and you can't take comfort in games in hands at all at any given time. You just have to go out there and win your games. And I hope they're gonna start tomorrow if they are gonna stay close to the guys in top.
Yeah, and looking at those upcoming fixtures, Mamelodi Sundowns have run away with leagues from the early stages in recent years. This is a good opportunity to see how Mamelodi Sundowns perform under pressure from other sides. I think in recent seasons, it's only been Pirates who have pushed Sundowns at all.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at that pack, and there might be 3 sides who have something to say about Sundowns' push for a title. And we'll see how they cope with that pressure.
I agree with you. And I was actually saying this to a friend to say, you know what? This season, in as much as I believe that Sundowns still has got the quality, I mean, now they've just brought in the Portuguese, 2 Portuguese players. I think the other one is Nuno Santos that it was playing, who is really, really good. But I was saying that this Mamelodi Sundowns of this season, it's actually beatable. I mean, if you look at, I think they've drawn 3 games so far, lost 1. And if you look at the Mamelodi Sundowns of the last season, they lost 3 games and only drew 1. So you can already see that in terms of points dropped, they're almost on par, in terms with last season, and the season has just started. So it just goes to show you that there is a bit of instability within the team. And if you look at teams like Golden Arrows have already taken points. I said in the previous episode that Durban City was also very close, But again, a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, you don't really write them off. But this season, I agree with you. It seems like there are few more teams that have got the potential to actually beat Mamelodi Sundowns. We've seen Kaizer Chiefs have already taken a point from Sundowns as well, So it will be interesting, But again, with that said, other teams as well, like Orlando Pirates, they have to win their games if they are gonna stand a chance to be Betway Premiership champions. You can't hope that Mamelodi Sundowns drop points and you're not winning your games, So it will be interesting to see, but we are in for a treat this season because I agree with you fully. There is a number of teams there that can really upset Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen a Betway Premiership season go to the final day.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, we've never seen it as a Betway Premiership.
Yeah, no, we saw it the last time. I think
APSA,
it was. Yeah, I think it was APSA. It was still APSA or DSTV.
Or DSTV.
Yeah, when Chiefs lost it on the last day.
The last day.
When Lord is it Gambala scored the goal for Baroka to equalize, and they lost it.
Yeah, so it would be good. It would be good for everyone to see, I think.
Yeah, it would be
besides,
good for the league, man.
It's good for the league to have it more competitive. And
I agree with you.
I think what bodes well for Sekhukhune is no commitments on the continent. That might help them, although they have a thinner squad than some of their more well-established names in and around them there. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of premierships, the English Premier League. What a Saturday. What a weird
that Saturday was crazy, bro. Like
Spurs needed a last-minute goal to get a point.
Yeah.
Chelsea got walked over.
Yeah.
Manchester United, I don't think it's as surprising as one of the big 6 sides to drop points. It's not as surprising, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not as surprising, but I mean, you would have expected them at least, against Brentford to get a draw or something. Yeah, but anyway,
yeah, to get the loss at Brentford 3-1. Okay, maybe not fully representative of the game because United conceded that 3rd goal while pressing late on. And I think the biggest shock, in a way, is Crystal Palace's victory over Liverpool on Saturday. Liverpool, we said last week, it's a sign of champions when you're not playing your best football, but you go on and get the wins anyway. Crystal Palace was a case too far. You had to play your best football in order to get any points there.
Because, Marco, in that first half, they should have been like 4 or 5-0 up.
Yeah, they
Mateta was just running. Is it Mateta?
Mateta?
Yeah, it was running havoc, eh?
Smacking posts and all sorts. So it was Crystal Palace. They had an interesting stat on them. And I don't have it here in front of me, so I'm going to butcher this. But I believe they've been unbeaten in like 17 fixtures or something like that. They've won 2 cups in that time period.
Yeah.
And the teams that they've faced over that time period, Liverpool's one of those teams. In the last 3 times that they've played Liverpool, they've not lost a game.
Wow. Interesting, eh? And you could just tell the way that team is structured, Marco, from defense to midfield to attack. When they're in transition, the speed that they exert, it's crazy. I mean, Liverpool had no answers. Konate was just falling over, and it's one of those games where at the end I was like, Liverpool, I don't think they had answers for this. Look, they had moments where they could have, but it just looked Crystal Palace were just way too good for Liverpool on the day.
Absolutely. And Crystal Palace absolutely flying in. I think it goes to show you that football, you can talk all you want about the tactics, you can talk all you want about the quality of individual players and the things that they can do. But at the end of the day, it's 11 men and a round ball against another 11 men and a round ball. And it's 11 men who are top athletes across the board, especially in a league like the Premier League, where it doesn't matter which team you're playing against. There's top players in that league, from the top to the bottom. And desire and effort goes a long way.
Crazy.
And that Crystal Palace side works their socks off.
When I look at the amount of saves that Alisson faced, my respect for him just like shot up. I respect him. He's a great goalkeeper, but there were goals that he put out there, Marco, and I was like, this guy is a real deal. Like, Alisson, he's a good goalkeeper, and to win leagues, sometimes you need good goalkeepers like those, and he showed why he's top quality, in that game, because I think more than anything, he kept Liverpool in that game. The 2-1 reflection is not really true. If
it's not truly representative of how that fixture went. Right? Crystal Palace were dominant, especially in the first half.
Yeah, but yes, Alisson is a good goalkeeper. I mean, you mentioned now the passion and when you're talking about Crystal Palace, and I just this is a segue to United.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and when Rooney went out to say that he doesn't believe that the players that are there have got the hunger, to I'm paraphrasing here. They've got the hunger to actually win games for United. It just feels like the entire team there is just not good enough to wear the jersey. And I think it's something that you also have alluded to in a way, to say that the jersey is just too heavy maybe for some of the players,
Absolutely. And I think that you're absolutely right, and so is Wayne Rooney, is that there's not enough desire in that team. And Manchester United is a team that didn't win every Premier League season that they won. They didn't win those 20 league titles purely on quality. They didn't win it because they had the best players every week. They didn't have the best players. But Manchester United players fought hard all the time. And this weekend highlighted that above all else. Is that first half, Manchester United were completely outplayed by Brentford, purely on desire and work ethic and grit and hunger. They wanted it more.
Yeah.
End of story. If Manchester United, and there's a lot of talk about Ruben Amorim and a lot of talk about the system. It's, for me, it's not the manager's fault. It's not the tactics fault. It's not an issue of the 3-4-2-1 formation. That's not the problem. It's the players wanting the win more than the other team.
Yeah.
And you have to do that when you're Crystal Palace, right? You have to do that when you Fulham, when you Bournemouth, when you Brentford, when you Sunderland. When you're those teams, you have to want the game more than the opposition in order to win it. Sometimes when you're Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, you don't have to want the win more than the other team. Sometimes you're going to just get through there on quality.
Yeah.
But the way this league is setting up, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
You have to want that game more than the opposition in order to win it.
Because everybody's just as good.
Yeah. The gap in quality is so small at the moment that everyone in that league is really top class.
Yeah.
And you have to play with desire and spirit and heart, and you have to run your legs off so that by the time you get into that dressing room at full time, you're absolutely exhausted. You should be panting in front of the camera for those post-match interviews because you've just left everything on the pitch, and that's just not a reality that we're seeing with a lot of these top sides, and it's reflective in the results this weekend. I think the biggest winner from this weekend is Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely, because they closed in that gap very nicely.
Yeah, they managed to get a win against Newcastle. It's a very difficult place to go and get points.
Yeah, they left it for too late as well.
They left it very late.
You don't give us our set pieces. Eh?
No. And contentious decisions here and there in the game.
The Gabriel red card, handball in the box. To me, I thought it was a clear handball, and these new rules are really, really confusing. I think VAR. So I'd hate to defend this because if you look at that, I mean, the arm is completely elevated in a position where he's blocked that it's way up. When VAR looks at something and you got a sliver of a rule that gives the on-field decision an opportunity, I think VAR is right to stick with the on-field decision. You know, the on-field decision should be priority. VAR should be there to overturn only when it's clear. But because both players touched the ball, because it was played off of the foot of Gabriel into the hand from that distance, that is where the rule comes in, where that's not a clear and obvious handball. If the ball was played directly from the foot of the Newcastle player to his hand,
I believe, was it Ilanga? Directly onto the hand, I think that's a more clear and obvious decision to make. But just the distance of the ball from the body and the rate of elevation of the hand, how much area he managed to block off using his hand. For me, I think that they've gained too much of an advantage from that, and it's probably a penalty. But like I said, to defend VAR, it's bounced off both players' foot. Very difficult decision to make up. I suppose it would be a soft penalty, but it's also harsh to not get the penalty. When you're a fan of Newcastle, it's harsh to see that. I think there were more fans of Liverpool who were more upset by that decision than anyone else. Because I think they want to keep Arsenal as far away from them as possible, because Arsenal are going to score a lot of set pieces this season. And although Gyökeres hasn't really hit the ground running and he's not flying and he's not showing that he is the Gert Müller best striker in the world, like the trophy that he won at these Ballon d'Ors for his time at Sporting, he's not shown that as yet, but his acquisition has added goals to the team.
No, definitely.
Something that they've been lacking in terms of a number 9 popping up for goals. We've said this for the past 3 years that Arsenal need a number 9 and they'll win the league. And if Liverpool don't improve on the performances, I wouldn't be surprised to see Arsenal lift it.
Yeah, no, I think we mentioned it. I think in our first episode
we did. Yeah,
I think this is the biggest chance to actually lift the Premiership. And Gyökeres, I think it's gonna get to a point where he will score. I just think the modern day football, it's a bit harsh on strikers. I saw a stat, and I could stand to be corrected, but I think Thierry Henry, when he joined Arsenal, he scored his first goal, I think, on the 6th or 7th game. And back then, it was understandable, but now, a striker needs to come in and hit the ground running, which is a bit unfair because, there's just so much change in terms of environment. It's a new league and all of that. He has to adapt and whatnot. But I think once he gets his scoring boots right, he is going to be a problem and he's going to help Arsenal in a big way.
I think when there's a more consistent team around him, where you've got Eze providing creativity from the left, Saka providing creativity from the right, and Odegaard providing from slightly deeper behind Gyökeres. then we're going to see his credentials when he has opportunities. Because Darwin Núñez came from Portugal to Liverpool with a big reputation of being a top striker and missed a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. And I think that's when you're really going to see is that when Gyökeres is presented with goal-scoring opportunities, does he finish them off?
Yeah, because if you can finish half of those chances that Núñez got,
you'll be a 20 goal a season striker, you know?
Easy.
So
it's unfair to compare the two, but that's a reality of it.
That's the reality of it, right? And I think that he will be provided with opportunities. They will come. He's a big, strong boy. He shouldn't be shrugged off easily by defenders. So in terms of the league, the goals are the same size in Portugal as they are in England.
No, definitely.
You know, so I expect him to still bag a lot of goals this season. And purely because of the creativity around him, he's going to get opportunities.
Yeah, and also you've mentioned Martin Odegaard, and I mean, we saw him coming in as a sub. So I think eventually he's going to get his full match fitness and he's going to be starting games very soon.
It's around the corner, It's
around the corner.
And with Eze and Saka both fit, I think it's around the corner. Declan Rice provides a lot of opportunities. And with Saliba and Gabriel, they're popping up at those corner kicks. You know, there's goals in that Arsenal side, and I don't expect them to concede a lot because as much as they aren't the possession side of the past, Arteta's more prepared to give away possession and play a different type of game to what Arsenal's a little bit more used to traditionally. They're going to control a lot of the ball. So if they're going to score goals, they're not going to concede that many either.
No, not
and I think Arsenal will win the games. And we were talking about Betway Premiership being close. This at the end of the season, that's what we're expecting. Premier League could be close at the end of the season.
Could be close, and it looks like Manchester City as well. They're clawing their way back into the top four. You know,
absolutely. And I don't know why we ever wrote off Manchester City because
for their standard, for their standard,
it's low.
Dropped drastically.
It's like, it's like if Sundowns were sitting in fourth position in the Betway Premiership, we'd be like, Sundowns is finished, it's done, the era's over.
Yes. I agree with you. It's not really the case.
It's not really the case, no. And I think I looked at the Manchester City side, I think 3 weeks ago. I looked at the squad, and I was like, why did I write this team off? Why was I worried about this team?
What were you drinking?
What was I thinking? Like, I forgot because you guys have been performing quite poorly. Like, why did I think you guys didn't have players? And we forget about the acquisitions of Reiners,
it is.
Reiners, Ryan Shirky.
Who's injured now? Imagine when he comes back.
And Ahmad Mamouche.
Mamouche is out with injury.
With injuries. So these are more players that are going to come back. And it's like Haaland is there. You know, it's still the best number 9 in world football, in my opinion. You know, Rodri should be back in the fold at some point.
He needs to get his full match fitness. He needs to get
full match fitness, etc. Ruben Diaz, who, I'm Portuguese and biased, I think is a top player.
I think it's quality, bro.
Bernardo Silva plays for Portugal, which is one of the top national sides in world football. Yes, he's getting on in age for the Premier League, and he's never had electric pace, you know, to open up a game.
And that combined with his age, he's sort of like dipped a bit, but he's still holding his own.
A year and a half ago, him in a Champions League final, what did he do? Against Real Madrid.
I remember.
You know, so boy, oh boy, Man City have a good side. They've got Pep Guardiola. They've got the best manager in the world, probably. They've got the best number 9 in the world. And they've bought the best goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion.
That was a good acquisition.
And not just my opinion, the opinion of France football and all the world's journalists. He's the Yashin Trophy holder.
Yes, and he doesn't give you what like your Edison does, you know, like playing from the back, you know. It's not his strong part of the game, right? But, oh boy, he's a shot stopper, that guy.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Pep Guardiola had that as a necessity. And everyone was questioning this Donnarumma move because they found it strange because he's not a Pep Guardiola goalkeeper. And they thought Man United should have rather gone in there, you know. But for me, how many teams are really prepared to press Manchester City that hard that one of those centre-backs aren't the ones making the passes, that the goalkeeper has to make the pass? How many teams are prepared to press City in that way?
Not
because
many.
It's a Pep Guardiola side. they'll just play around you, whether they're using the goalkeeper to do that or not. So for teams that are sitting a little bit deeper, do you need that keeper who's a ball-playing goalkeeper as much? I don't know if City really need it. I would sacrifice that ability for how good Donnarumma is in other areas.
Yeah, because if we look at how City used to concede, it's part that needed a shot stopper like Donnarumma. In as much as he was good with his feet, but there are certain areas where I think, he was not really quality in terms of shot stopping, and I think that's what Donnarumma gives City. And also, I think there's a bit of a shift, and I think I mentioned it to you with Pep, to say, you know what, sometimes you don't have to be like fixed to your philosophy as a manager. You have to try different things to try and elevate your team. You've seen now that people knows your way of playing, I mean, you have to try come up with other ways of defeating your opposition. And we saw even in the game against Arsenal that this man now is willing to at least, say, you know what, I don't have the quality today to match up the opposition. And Pep of 5 years ago wouldn't have done that. We'd rather lose playing his style of play. But right now, he's sort of like adjusting a little bit. I'm not saying entirely, but I think he's got that room to say tactics can change based on your opponent.
Early days, but come the end of the season?
Where do I see them? It's a difficult one. Definitely top two.
Top two, hey?
Yeah, top two.
That means they're going to finish either ahead of Liverpool or Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you heard it, yeah.
You heard it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to see City in the top two.
I know.
I think I'd be surprised to see them win the league right away.
Yeah, same here.
But I wouldn't be terribly shocked. But I think they are... I'm going to write off Chelsea now already, I think, for winning the league.
Yeah, and I think Chelsea are in trouble now.
I don't think Spurs have the credentials to go win the league.
It's just too early for them.
I do think City... I still
Arsenal
think
and
it's
Liverpool.
Between Arsenal and Liverpool. I still think Liverpool are favourites. I expect them to turn around these like couple bad performances. They've not started the
Liverpool
season
for me,
great.
they're favourite. If I were to rank it, I would say Liverpool first, City second,
then Arsenal,
then Arsenal. I think I'll put us.
You don't sound super confident, but maybe it's a fan.
Maybe
speaking.
I'm biased,
Yeah.
but no. Look, top three. Yeah, maybe let me not put it in order, but I still think Liverpool are going to finish first. But City and Arsenal, that's where I think...
I think the best sides in the league.
Sure.
I think there are three sides that are the best sides in the league. And I do think that those are those three sides. Yeah. Those are the three best sides in the league. And then I think behind them, you can put them in any order. Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea. So in terms of a top six, that's what you imagine to be the top six. And thereafter, there's lots of teams putting their hands up.
Yeah, definitely. From there on, it's just for everyone.
We were talking about the newly promoted sides.
Yeah.
And as things stand in the Premier League, Sunderland in fifth.
The Black Cats.
Yeah, they're on 11 points.
Yeah, no.
They're 4 points behind Liverpool.
Yeah.
They're only 2 points behind Arsenal, having played the same number of games. We're busy talking about how Arsenal's going to go win the league because they've got Gyökeres. We're talking about Crystal Palace, who remain the only unbeaten side in the Premier League this season. How's that for a stat? The only unbeaten team in the Premier League this season is Crystal Palace. And they've drawn 3 games, but it doesn't really matter when you're on 12 points.
Yeah.
So Crystal Palace are up there. Here's me saying I didn't even put them with a shout in that top 6. Every season there's a surprise package in the top 6 or the top 4 or whatever. And
which is good.
Nottingham Forest were that surprise last season. And, who knows? Maybe with Nuno heading over to West Ham, maybe they usurp Notts Forest and find their way up there again. It's a little bit far off right now.
But look, I mean, I think it's still very early days. Nuno still got plenty of time to try and lift West Ham. I think I think he's got potential to get into the top 10 very, very soon. I can tell you that much. I mean, he's a quality manager. We've seen what he has done at Wolves. I for one still believe that he was not given enough time at Spurs.
Absolutely.
Had they given Postecoglou the same amount.
Hey, listen, they fired Jose Mourinho before he could play in his final for his Carling Cup.
Yeah.
Or the English League Cup.
Yeah.
Final. So no surprise that.
Yeah.
But maybe those days are behind them now with Daniel Levy leaving the club.
Yeah.
New ownership was a rumor that's part of the mark, so I don't think that's happening. But I don't know who's not a fan of Thomas Frank and what he was managed to do with the resources at Brentford. In terms of the club structure.
You just newly promoted.
Bring that philosophy to a top club.
Yeah.
If he can keep them in the green in terms of football operations, sell players for more than you pay for them, and then when you lose a striker, replace him with someone else, replace him with someone else, replace him with someone else. And, they've made the likes of Mbuemu, Ivan Toney, and Mateta, they've made those players world stars.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, is it just the structure of the club that's made them world stars? Are they that good, And put that into a side with resources, and maybe the sky's the limit for Spurs, and maybe there's a new era of dominance coming into English football.
You never know.
You never know.
There's potential.
Leeds United, another one of those promoted sides.
Yeah.
Sitting in 11th place. But more importantly, this weekend, an icon of the game, the Chief, Lucas Radebe, honored as a ambassador
officially
for Leeds United Football Club.
That's great news, and
it's great that he was announced as an ambassador while they're in the Premier League as well.
Of course.
I mean, last season they were in the Championship, they were in the Premier League the season before that as well. I find it very fitting that he's honored while the club is on a high.
Yeah, no, look, I don't think it was a surprise we're happy about it, but I don't think it was surprising that Lucas was named an ambassador. I think the record speaks for itself for what he has done for that club on and off the field. I think he's a legend on and off the field. I mean, they worship Lucas Radebe, in those parts of the world, for lack of a better expression, and for what he has done to be rewarded in this manner, I think it's fitting, and again, I think it should be an example, to the youngsters, that sometimes stick it out with one club, legacy carries you until you are gone, and what Lucas has done for Leeds and his legacy, it's something that it's going to be spoken about years until, years when he's no longer even there, so it's a great achievement, I think.
Something for all South Africans to be proud of, to see someone in the English Premier League being honored like this as an ambassador for the club. And Leeds United is not a small football team. They're a big football club.
Yeah, and I think...
And he achieved great things there, and it's right to see him in that place.
And I think, a move like this can actually motivate them to actually go in and try emulate the seasons that they have when they qualified for Champions League and whatnot, because I don't think they've had such kind of a success since, where they just like up there, I mean, we all know the amount of years that they've spent in the lower division lately, so hopefully this can actually motivate the current crop to try and emulate the likes of your Lucas,
Absolutely. Last thing before we go.
Yeah.
Madrid derby.
Oh, hey.
It's not quite El Clasico, but it's a big fixture in Spanish football. And Xabi Alonso outdone by Mr. Experience himself, Diego Simeone.
Yeah, no, man. I watched that game and I'm like, flip. Firstly, I was like, obviously when you watch a game of that magnitude, it's a derby. You always parallel it to your own local derby. I'm like, geez, will we ever get to see Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates scoring goals just like that in a derby.
7 goals?
7 goals. Man.
No. Look, I've been shocked by derbies before because every time there's a derby and I get asked for a prediction, I'm like 1-0.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know, if you're going to open your betting app, you bet 2.5 under.
Yeah.
And you'll make some money on a Soweto derby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, jeez.
It was what a game. And it looked like, you know, Madrid, Atletico Madrid were fired up for that game, you know.
Yeah.
They were fired up for that game, disallowed goals, and they just kept pushing and pushing, you know. And obviously at the end, you know, when for Madrid, when you try and get back to the game, you expose yourself at the back, you know, and they just capitalized, you know. But what a game. And it's something that I wish to see here locally, you know, where derbies just have that goal thriller, you know.
Yeah. I like Diego Simeone's philosophy of like being very solid in defense.
Yeah.
We know he's a very defensive manager.
Yeah, no, very.
And I think this is also why he gets brought up because he's had great success.
No.
He's been a tremendous manager. I think he's managing credentials speak for themselves.
Yeah.
But he gets brought up for top clubs as rumors, and then nothing really materializes in that way. Whether it's that he doesn't have any intention of leaving Atletico Madrid, whether it's a language barrier that keeps him from going to English football, whatever it may be, that keeps him from there. For me, I think the reality is top clubs are scared to hire a manager who wants to play defensive. But it's a system that works when you sprinkle top attacking talent in there.
Yeah.
Antoine Griezmann, okay, he hasn't scored a goal in a while.
Yeah.
But we know how dangerous he is.
Yeah.
He's a creative player. He's got loads of skill and he can finish.
Yeah. We saw
Julian Alvarez, they paid a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's only 1 or 2 clubs in the world that you can pay a lot of money for a player who's second rate at that club, who doesn't have space at that club.
Yeah, but he was a World Cup winning player.
He's a World Cup winning player, and he's one of the best forward players in the world. And I think that works as a system. Be solid defensively, don't concede a lot of opportunities, and then just have the best guys up there. Yeah. There you're going to score goals.
Yeah.
You know, you got players like that, goals will come. Yeah, goals will come at some point, they will come. Yeah. So, tough on Real Madrid because they've started La Liga really well. Kylian Mbappe in with a lot of goals at the start of the season. Okay, a lot of penalty goals, but there's a lot of quality in that Real Madrid side, and they keep adding, as per Real Madrid, they have a lot of quality and they keep adding more quality year in, year out. And I think Xabi Alonso's done a fine job. You know, you can't take this game and say,
definitely.
Listen, he still needs to learn. He's a young manager, and he's only played in Bundesliga. He's only managed in Bundesliga up till this point. So I'm sure he'll take some lessons from that.
No, definitely.
But Real Madrid will be competing with Barcelona for this La Liga title as they do every year. But maybe not right off Atletico Madrid for another surprise title here and there.
No,
so
they've shown that, you know, and I was actually thinking about this to say, could this be one of those situations where this fixture, Madrid derby, sort of like get to a level where El Clasico was when Ronaldo and Messi was there? Because let's be honest, in as much El Clasico is still El Clasico, it's not at the level that it was back then. You know, sometimes those El Clasico come and then you only find out about it a Friday before. But when Ronaldo and Messi were there,
you marked it on your calendar.
You marked it on your calendar, you know. And I was just like, the Madrid derby could just be that fixture that just like, you know,
you look forward to.
You look forward to as a big fixture from La Liga. You know, I think it's massive. But yeah, that was just my take from that.
Absolutely. Well, that's it from us. I'm Marco Martins.
I am Rado Lali Musuphi.
Ade Bafana. This is Black and White Boots.
Tanko.